Greetings, friends. Paul here. Are you curious about channeling your past ancestry and/or the collective consciousness throughout history or the Akashic record? Well, so am I. And a fun meditation practice that I've been starting. It's pretty easy. Get yourself a sketchbook like this and a good pencil or pen or something to sketch with. And starting with yourself and your siblings and your parents through grandparents, and then go right down the line about every 30 or 40 years. The average generation is 30 years, so 30 to 35 years. I put a new date down the side here. So from 1970s, say approximately, in my case, right down through the 1500s. And go back and fill in. I'll just give you a little peek at some of my records here and do some sketching too and doodling, whatever comes into your head as you move through the dates that you are channeling from those past ancestors. That's kind of when you get into the meditation, because you've already seen where you are, how you exist, you and your siblings and your offspring or your siblings' offspring. And then you get into your grandparents and kind of envision their lives and where they were at, and then get into their parents. And that's where the meditation comes in, because now you're channeling and imagining the historical framework and the time that these people were in. As you go through, I've noticed like you can draw little symbols. Like I drew this little like a brooch pendant here as I was going through my great grandmothers on my paternal side, because I actually did hear an anecdote about how she was a very formal kind of stoic woman of Scottish ancestry with a brooch that women would wear, and I just have that visual image. So you're getting near like the 1850s of that kind of imagery, which is really cool. So that's why I'm saying like these images and little sketches can come in handy, like these circles. Just let yourself go with this. As you go through the dates, you don't have to sketch, you don't have to draw, but I like to do art. So I just found myself sketching shapes and then kind of like pulling out shapes within shapes. Like to me, that looks very Celtic. I wasn't thinking that, but as I was going over some of this stuff, I have a lot of Celtic kind of ancestry, particularly on my mother's side of the family. And I have notes in here about different types of foods and tea and what I imagine people's personalities were like, and their temperaments, and the kind of housing they lived in. I have some notes here about smoldering peat and forging iron and thatched roofs, and I'm just kind of just doing stream of consciousness kind of stuff as I'm getting down through like the 1500s. Now, studying history and watching videos and movies about history does help put these images in our head, because it's real. Those are our ancestors and where they came from. And if you've watched historical movies, that's going to be the environment of a lot of our ancestors, depending on where you're from. Now, I have some Mediterranean blood as well, and I very clearly have had visions or images in the past, particularly when I used to do long distance running in the summer, like marathon running or long distance running. I used to run in extreme heat, and I would have almost, as I was getting into that runner's high that you hear about, that endorphin high, I would have these very clear images in the really hot summer with just sweat, and I'd almost wear like this kind of like turban bandana going down my neck to keep my neck cool, and I'd throw water on it sometimes. But I would have this image of like this kind of Middle Eastern village you can see down here, with like the rounded rooftops and turrets, and everything was whitewashed, like you'd see like in a Greek or Italian or Albanian village, with the blue Mediterranean water and just that whitewash color and sandstone and And that those images have got to come through my ancestral record on the Mediterranean side of my father's paternal side of the family. So I was just making notes and little drawings like that this morning, along with notes about the whitewashed houses and the sun and the intense heat, which is totally opposite the kind of images I get about the cool weather, smoldering peat, thatched roofs of kind of the Viking Celtic side of my own ancestry. So you can spend about an hour just in meditation, closing your eyes and just being very free form as you go through this meditation, making notes and images down columns. I've found that that's a very good way to go. But just to even go back into, say, the Middle Ages, whatever your ancestry is, and just do that as a fun meditation exercise, and post your comments below, if you would, about any cool kind of visions or images or symbols, graphic kind of imagery like I've drawn, or notes or words, even certain words. And they could even be words maybe that are not recognizable to you. They could be sounds or phonemes linguistically. You know, write anything down that comes to your mind as you're sitting going through a meditation. Actually, I like to do this kind of meditation on a foam mat, and I'll alternately sit cross-legged, or a lot of times I kind of get on my knees and I lean over my pad and I kind of write like this. I just work a lot on the floor, but I get in a comfortable position, wear comfortable clothes, and it's a great way to enjoy your morning tea or coffee in the stillness of your room in your meditation practice while doing something fun and potentially channeling your past ancestors and the Akashic record, or that notion of a collective historical consciousness that we're all able to tap into if we can access that record through deep peacefulness and clear-headed, relaxed, calm meditation. There's a lot of great educational material on YouTube, and as you're doing your own ancestral work or genealogy, it's a lot of fun to do YouTube searches on those areas, geographic areas, and geographic and historic periods of your ancestors, because it will help facilitate doing this kind of practice. Thanks for watching, you guys, and have a great day.